Joining me now is Democratic Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton. He is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. He is also a veteran. Congressman, welcome back to the show. Just first want to get your reaction to President Trump announcing that for his second term, once again, Saudi Arabia will be the first foreign visit he plans. Saudi Arabia and Saudis have been very involved in these ceasefire negotiations between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, I mean, obviously he has a love affair for the Saudis. The Saudis are an important ally, but a complicated one. Let's not forget that they killed an American journalist not that long ago. The bottom line is that Trump is a wannabe autocrat, and he likes to associate with autocrats. So it's not surprising to me that he's going to Saudi Arabia first.
Trump says he is angry with Vladimir Putin for dragging his feet on a peace deal. Sunday, he threatened to put more tariffs on Russian oil if Putin continues to move the goalposts. Do you think a threat like that will work?
I mean, it's nice to see that Trump is actually starting to play hardball with an adversary to the United States, an adversary that wants to kill Americans, because up until this point, Trump has said that he trusts Putin. It seems that Trump is the only person in the world who actually believes you can trust Putin, and now he's surprised at what the rest of us, of course, all know, which is you don't trust Vladimir Putin, you don't trust Xi Jinping of China, you don't trust adversaries that want to hurt the United States of America.
Yeah, there are many world leaders and even some of your own Republican colleagues in Congress who have warned that Putin would do exactly this. They don't believe Putin wants peace. Putin's continued an intense bombing campaign of the Ukrainian cities, and now he's boasting, that his army is ready to, quote, finish off Ukraine.
I mean, there's no evidence that we've seen that Putin wants peace. I want to hear one shred of evidence over the last several years that Putin wants peace. Somehow, Trump deluded himself into believing that his buddy Vladimir Putin would actually listen to him. And Trump fooled himself more than anyone else in the world.
But isn't it possible that perhaps, behind the scenes, is it possible that he's using a carrot and stick approach with Putin in order to lure him to the peace table and box him in somehow?
Yeah, or it's possible he's just really dumb and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And that's why so many people think that Trump's approach is stupid. And that's why you hear that from even Republicans on the Hill, a lot in private and a little bit in public.
Well, let's switch gears to Iran. Iran's supreme leader responded to Trump's threat to drop bombs. The Ayatollah saying, we just heard through the translation, that, quote, if they commit any mischief, they will surely receive a strong reciprocal blow. How seriously should we take this talk from Iran?
Look, we have to take it seriously because Iran is a threat to the United States and to our allies in the Middle East. And so we have to make sure that we are responding. But Iran's also a complicated case. Iran's best behavior was under the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, which was far from perfect. It was not a perfect deal. But the reality is that they were further away from producing a nuclear weapon under that deal than ever since. Since Trump pulled us out of that deal, his maximum pressure campaign did not work. Iran moved closer to a bomb. And look, candidly, standing here as a Democrat, Biden's strategy wasn't that successful either. Although attacks ramped up dramatically against U.S. allies in the first Trump term, they continued to ramp up under Biden. So basically, we've had 8 years of an ineffective strategy to deal with Iran. It's time to turn it around. But once again, Trump doesn't seem to know what he's doing.
But Iran is definitely on the ropes right now. I mean, they are weakened. Hezbollah has been severely degraded up in Lebanon. Hamas, we don't know the state of what Hamas is doing in Gaza, but certainly they're not at their strongest point. We've got the Houthi rebels being bombed. President Trump has taken strong action, at least toward Hamas and toward the Houthi rebels, and allowed Israel to be very aggressive with Hezbollah.
Let's be clear, what Israel did with Hezbollah was under the Biden administration. And they've basically crushed Hamas under the Biden administration. So I'm not sure what Trump had to do with that at all. But the bottom line is, with Iran, the most serious, dangerous thing they can do is use a nuclear weapon. And they are closer to a nuclear bomb today than at any time in recent modern history. So that's what we should be most concerned about.
All right, I want to switch gears. You wrote on X that you and your colleagues are demanding an explanation for the arrest and the detention of that Tufts University graduate student. We've all seen the video from a neighborhood ring camera. She was arrested while walking on the sidewalk by ICE agents who were all wearing masks. She was then immediately flown to a detention facility in Louisiana. Have you gotten the information you requested on why she was arrested?
No, we have not. They can't explain a simple question, which is why did you take this person off the street? Speaking of Iran, if you watch this video, it looks like a video that came out of Iran. Those are the kinds of videos you see when they disappear people in Iran with no explanation because they're not following the rule of law. Listen, we can't become a banana republic here. Whether you agree with her positions on issues or not, freedom of speech is foundational to our democracy. If we lose freedom and liberty, we're not Americans anymore. And freedom and liberty is what Trump is trying to take away. This time, it's someone who disagrees with the administration on Palestine. Who knows who will be next? Every one of us should be watching our backs, frankly. Maybe I need to watch my back just because I'm disagreeing with the Trump administration right now. What does that say about the state of American democracy?
The difference is you're an American citizen and this graduate student was not. The Trump administration is arguing that these students who are here studying in this country on visas or on green cards, that this is a privilege to be here in the United States studying, and if they're going to partake in protests or that sort of thing, although there's no evidence this woman did that, just so far that she wrote an editorial in a newspaper, the administration's arguing it's a privilege, not a right, to free speech and to be in this country.
Now, Elizabeth, the rights guaranteed under the Constitution apply to people who lawfully earn those rights, including people who are here on lawful visas. Is it okay to say other laws don't apply to them too, like you can just murder people who are here on visas because it's a privilege to be in America, and we don't murder fellow Americans, but it's okay to murder people who are here on student visas? I mean, that's absurd. That's not a democracy. When you have laws, the whole point of a country of laws is that they apply equally to everyone. There's not people who get exceptions to the rule of law, and yet obviously that's what Trump believes. He thinks that the rule of law does not apply to people that he doesn't want it to apply to. That's why his rampant pardons of people who attacked the Capitol, because he frankly encouraged them to do it. So he says, okay, this rule of law that's kept this country free for over 250 years, it's just not going to apply to the people who tried to overthrow the government at my command. That's not the way that America works.
Finally, Congressman, I do want to ask you about this brand new book that's coming out tomorrow on the 2024 campaign and President Biden's insistence that he was fit to run for a second term in office. The book reports that as early as 2023, Democratic Party leaders were worried that he wasn't up to it, much less up to serving a full second term, and that there were even plans, should he die in office, as to who would swear in the vice president. One veteran strategist who was worried about Harris's ability to defeat Trump is reported as saying, well, at least she has a pulse.
I mean, look, I was the third member of Congress, House or Senate, to publicly call for President Biden to step aside. But honestly, I wish I had been the first, and I wish I had done it sooner. I think there's a lot of blame to go around here. But clearly what was going on in the White House was even worse than those of us in Congress knew from what we could see.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.